WHGE 95.3 FM. Coming up, the open eye. All right. Those of us that indulge in or commit intellectual violence don't do so for the pleasure of mental masturbation or ego diddling. We do so because the chains of oppression on our people's minds are deep and difficult to remove. Good morning, my children of the sun. Welcome to the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm your host, Third Eye Optometrist Patrice Gibbs. Listen, sorry I'm late. We had some technical difficulties. Had a little time. Had a little trouble getting things started here. But I'm here now, and I know how you feel. When I'm here, I'm on time. Every generation has its purpose. Ours is to reveal the truth and reverse the brainwashing. Let me get my disclaimer out the way, and we're going to get it going. The views and opinions expressed on Open Eye are those of the hosts, guests, and contributors, and do not reflect the policy or position of WHGE 95.3 FM, nor our sponsor, the Delaware Center for Homeless Vets. Any content provided by Open Eye's hosts, guests, or contributors are theirs and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, company, or individual. WHGE 95.3 FM. Brother Jakeem. Hey, how you doing? Steve, what's up, bro? All right. You know, there are two movies. One that came out in 1915. The other came out in around 2000. I can't remember exactly when. But at any rate, that movie was called Birth of a Nation. You heard me mention this probably in the past couple of weeks right here on Open Eye. 1915 was a big year in cinematic history, as one film in particular set a number of precedents in digital and visual innovations. It was the first film played in the White House, and the highest grossing film of that time. It was also virulently racist. I mean, this movie was racist itself. The Birth of the Nation glorified the Ku Klux Klan and depicted African Americans in the most horrible racist way. History maker Vernon Jordan speaks about this early piece of cinematic racial history in America. Don't forget that the first technological advancements in the theater were reaped with racism. In fact, it was before most of us were born. In 1915, the first movie of any consequence when it comes to technological scope was D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, which was a racist film that glorified the Klan and was probably directly responsible for the resurgence of the Klan. Okay, literature, everywhere you turn, the theater, newspapers, all right? We were out here fighting for our spiritual and psychological existence. In Boston, newspaperman and civil rights advocate William
Monroe Trotter, dedicated himself to stopping the film from spreading its racial prejudice. He organized the black population of Boston in a movement to ban the film. A group of several thousand protested outside the theater, and another day marched to the State House singing hymns along the way, hoping to appeal to the government. Hoping to appeal to the... You can't appeal to someone's morals who has no morality. It was a mass protest that was completely unprecedented for the city at the time, and may have been the precursor to some civil rights movement activities. And of course, the NAACP also pushed for banning the film and established a precedent setting the national boycott of the film. Alternately, it was banned in 3 states. 3 whole states and several cities. And like I said, after that film was directly responsible for the reemergence, the resurgence in the Klan. It wasn't long after that film that the Klan had a major march on Washington. Now there was another movie, Modern Times, called Birth of the Nation. Let me tell you about that and its producer and creator. Let me introduce you to Nate Parker, the writer, director, and star of the movie Birth of a Nation. Brother Allen. While in college, he and a friend were accused of sexual assault by a young lady. After going to court and being completely exonerated of all charges, Nate Parker went on to have a successful career in Hollywood. Yeah. That is until he made Birth of a Nation, the movie based on the real events surrounding the slave rebellion, orchestrated by Nat Turner. America condemned him as a sexual predator, interrogated and ridiculed him over charges that he was found completely innocent of in court. The burden of public opinion ruined his chances of having an Oscar bid for his amazing movie, and his career in Hollywood was derailed. Meanwhile, Brett Kavanaugh is accused of drugging and gang raping multiple women in his past, and America is fighting to give him one of the highest positions in the United States. I don't need to point out the fact that black men are guilty for life based on accusations which result in them fighting to prove their innocence, because they are guilty until proven innocent. White men enjoy the benefit of a doubt, even when there is an overabundant amount of evidence and multiple accusations from victims and witnesses. We want equality. White privilege exists in many ways, and we watched it manifest with the self-admitted sexual predator and convicted felon, Donald Trump. Even after the crap that he said before he was first elected, grab him by the P, he was still elected to the highest position in the country and is running for president right now. It is so prevalent that Americans victim shame rather than investigate in order to get past the privileged white men. Meanwhile, nearly every case involving a person of color results in the end of a career or life based on accusations. Black people, we're watching this. Racist hypocrisy in high definition. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. You know, I've talked about this before. It's amazing how People allow themselves to be hustled and conned. But it's an American tradition. Sound crazy? Well, listen, let me tell you something. Only 1.6%, that's a low number. 1.6% of U.S. citizens actually owned slaves in 1860 when slavery was at its peak. Yet that small 1.6% of rich plantation owners were able to convince the majority of Southerners to fight a civil war for a cause that only reduced the value of their own labor and pay. Sound familiar? Chickens fighting for Colonel Sanders. The elites of white supremacy have been running this hustle on poor white people, God, since the 1600s. Yeah. Yeah. Let me tell you about American injustice. Now imagine you were a drug dealer. Okay? And you got caught. Guess what? You're going to jail. Imagine you were an embezzler working at a major bank as a black person, and you embezzled some money. You're going to jail. You see? Most of the time, it's really interesting that most of the time when you have embezzlement and financial shenanigans going on amongst the elites, unless they steal from rich people like Bernie Madoff, they probably don't go to jail. I'll give you a prime example. Okay, the financial shenanigans that have gone on, since what, the 1980s? Since the rise of trickle-down economics and the rise of Republican deity, or as we call him, demon, Ronald Reagan, made roast in hell, made the devil sodomizing with a pitchfork. Look, just a few years ago this happened. You heard me talk about it before. Authorities uncovered that Wachovia Bank, I don't think it's in existence anymore because I'm pretty sure it was purchased by Wells Fargo or somebody. All right. Wachovia Bank laundered $378 billion for a Mexican drug cartel. The bank was fined just $50 million and nobody went to jail. But for years we locked up kids over a dime bag of pot. Let that sink in. Okay? If I could get away with basically embezzling $378 billion, didn't go to jail and only had to pay a $50 million fine, which is doing like 2% of the profits. That's less than a salesman gets when he makes a sale and gets 15% of the profits. That's less than the taxes you would pay, well, if you were a poor working person, or a working person, you'd pay more than 15%. More than 2%, I mean. $50 million of $378 billion. And they got to keep all that. Okay? And we worry about socialism. Yeah, there's socialism for the rich. What's up, man? Oh, there's socialism for the rich. I was telling you, look, Elon Musk. He makes $16 million an hour and pay less taxes than you. Jeff Bezos make $4 million an hour. Mark Zuckerberg makes about the same, and they pay less taxes than you. That's what you need to be mad about. Not whether or not women get an abortion. Not what. Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna come back to that statement. What they want to do. Now, the 5 richest men on the planet now hold a combined worth of $869 billion in wealth. If each of them were to spend $1 million daily, it would take them 476 years to exhaust their wealth. Don't tell me you can't afford to tax the wealth. It's BS. What we got here? WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM. The Open Eye. Patrice Gibbs here, your third eye optometrist. Okay. I'm going to say her name again today. Sonia Macy. Yeah. Murdered after she called for help by Deputy Sean Grayson. Recently, just yesterday and this morning, I saw a video from the show Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Ritchie. I mean, he had 2 former policemen on there. Now, it should be no surprise that you have people out here trying to justify the murder of Sonia Macy. Saw this white lady on TikTok or whatever, and she's on there justifying the murder of Sonia Macy. And during the midst of this ridiculousness, this young white lady, declares she plans to be a cop. You were hoping in this day and age an idiot, racist, hussy like her would not have any chance of joining the police force. And that's not so. And then you have people like former officer Brandon Tatum, former police officer, black man. And he's on Dr. Ritchie's show where he got blasted out, and rightfully so, trying to justify the murder of Sonia Macy. And he just went on and on about by law, it was justifiable. That's going to be his defense, because she lunged at him with a pot of boiling water. No, she didn't. Had to catch myself. You goddamn liar. She did not lunge at this cop with no pot of boiling water. She put the pot down. And what spurred, what triggered this mayonnaise mafioso was when she recognized the demon in him. Okay? And said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And Brandon Tatum's on here on video trying to justify it, to the point that he lied and said she lunged at these cops and threw the water at them. And that's why she got shot. So Dr. Ritchie asked him, could you come on and say, by law, this was justified if that was your mother? And he argued, by law, it was justified. So if my mother had been in this situation, I would have no choice but to come on and tell the truth. Now this fool sit up there and talk about I would have no choice to come on and tell the truth. And he sat right up there and lied. And rightfully so, Dr. Ritchie blasted his ass out. And he should have. And he told him, look, you clown, get off my show. I don't even want to hear nothing else you got to say, because you just sat here and said you would defend that cop if he murdered your mother. What a sorry, good gracious alive. That's unbelievable, man. That he could actually get on there and say he could defend that cop if that cop murdered his mother. You're a sorry excuse for a man, Brandon Tatum. That's what it is. You are a sorry excuse for a man. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. Brother Raj, I see you, bro. Third eye optometrist Patrice Gibbs. Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago, man, you may remember this group of 5 black police officers beat a brother to death. I think it was in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm pretty sure it was. And from that, criticism for black cops was strong. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it wrong. Yes, there are some decent cops, black and white. But of course, I got to go with the Muhammad Ali analogy about snakes. You got 1,000 snakes, poisonous. And out of that 1,000, 100 of them wouldn't bite you. How much time are you going to take trying to decide whether that 100 are going to protect you, or you're even going to, work with that? Okay, this is what came from this. Dear black police officer, how long will you be in the house? Because us field playing folk had hoped that you would talk to the master about his cruelty. Your brother was hung yesterday. Couldn't you see his body swinging from the reposted web window in the attic where they keep you? Black officers, do you know where the origins of your profession are from? Your career path started as a lie and weight gain to catch your cousins on the run. You haven't been more than a private property patrol for hire. That's why you stand in front of the bank we just set on fire. I bet they denied you a business loan too. Black officers, could you ask the master why they killed your sister? She always said, yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. Never raised her voice or her hands. Except that one time she denied the master's advance. Black officers, could you stop turning the whip on your own people? Your master said they had to be punished, but do you even know why? Are you carrying your brothers to the furnace because they actually did wrong, or the politics of the land would rather them die? Black officers, when you look in the mirror, do you see black or blue? Civilian or civil servant with no civility in your servitude? You must not know the numbers. Over 50% black for nonviolent offenses. Over 50% of mothers and fathers, sons, daughters being ushered into the system that creates nothing but more problems. And it's you who escorts them to the noose. I mean, how does it feel, black officer? Black officer, have you read the new Jim Crow? Do you know exactly how private prisons grow? Is your conscience red line like the neighborhood you patrol? Black officer, do you see us across the perimeter line? Do you make excuses for your position like, I'm just trying to make a living? Yet building your provisions on the system that is financed by throwing black people inside a prison. Black officer, are you really fighting crime or a rich man's war? Do you feel the same anger when you get followed inside of a store? Black officer, for how long will you participate in the oppression of your own? I'm Patrice Gibbs, WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. WHGE 95.3 FM, the advocacy education station. Yes, indeed. And that's what you get when you come around here, because I educate myself before I get here. I got a call from my buddy yesterday, and his heritage is African American and Nanacote Native American, Nanacote tribe, his mother's side of the family. And he told me yesterday he was Italian. And what? Yeah, I'm Italian today. And next week I'm be Asian. And the week after that I might be indigenous Native American. Brother Sil Wolford. See you out there, bro. It's something that many of us forget about, the one drop rule. And that's been so, since slavery, since before slavery or whatever. Or since there have been white people, since white and black became social constructs. And you got 1% of black blood, the white supremacists in this country consider you black. And I don't care what, look, let me put it like this. What do white people say? My heritage is Scottish, French, German, Swiss, 116 Cherokee, from the princess on my mother's side, and Canadian, Irish, Welsh, and Ford 150 on my father's side. Now, you ask white people about Kamala Harris, she gets to decide whether she's Indian or black. She can't have both. She has to decide whether she's Indian or black. But y'all French and Irish and this, that, and you know what? If I had a dog that was Scottish, French, German, Swiss, they call him a goddamn mutt. This woman with two factions, two heritages in her bloodline has to decide whether she, and all people, the orange disaster, we don't know what he is. They showed up a white man, now he orange. And him and his cohorts have the nerve to call her the DEI vice president. Now, she was plucked from obscurity and made the vice president because of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Let me tell you what DEI is. It's getting hired by your dad straight out of college. And then giving your dad's company, and then receiving $418 million of your dad's funds throughout your career, and showing yourself to be absolutely incompetent, declaring bankruptcy 6 times. In your case, DEI stands for didn't earn it, orange disaster. The hell out of here. What's the day? The day is August the 3rd. Yeah. We got National Remembrance coming up. Oh, before I go there, I meant to mention this. Is as my brother from another mother, Ray Morris, reminded us, keep your eye on Project 2025. Now, crazy thing is we got some so-called black consciousness people who, after studying them for quite a while, have come to the conclusion that many of them are undercover conservatives. Notice they got a little money, and they have a tendency to say things like, oh, well, you just need to stay home, because this group over here ain't no better than that group over there, and ain't neither one of them doing nothing for you. Well, it's a fact that Democrats, are absolutely racist. But they're not out to destroy us on the level that Republicans are, that conservatives are. And I want to say this to women, keep your eye open. Because they've already shown you what they want is control. You have no idea the level of control that they want. Because one of the things that's in their manifesto, the 2025 project, is that women should be mandated to carry period passports. And what the hell is that? A period passport to track a woman's menstrual cycles, and it must be kept up to date, and women must present these to police officers doing random ID checks to monitor pregnancies. And that's from the Heritage Foundation. This is the level of control that they want on women. And women, remember, it's something that, we talk about divorce rates now as compared to in the past. It wasn't because women had some moral compass, or people had some moral compass and that's why there were less divorce. It's because women didn't have no goddamn rights. And most specifically, they had no economic rights. It wasn't until 1971 that a woman could go and get a credit card without having a male member of her family sign for it. And many of you women, many of you white women, think that hitching your wagon to your conservative racist mate is going to keep you safe from their draconian control. It's not. Learn something. All right, now back to what I was saying. August the 5th. August the 5th is coming. What happened August the 5th? I tell you, when it comes to holidays, we got to create our own. August the 5th, 2023. Okay. It was the day of the hat toss that led to the Alabama boat brawl. Yeah, remember that? The Alabama boat brawl. I might take off Monday. Okay? Because after that massive riverfront brawl in Montgomery, Alabama, you know, we were looking at that with celebration. And we don't want to forget what happened that day. Remember the young brother? He was on the boat. He jumped in the river and swam over there to help his brother. Yeah, that was something to celebrate. Remember the folding chair? Yes, indeed. I see Sister Ruth said she gonna swim in Monday. Doggone right. Something else we weren't allowed to do during the dark days of Jim Crow. And some of them got locked up and what have you. And something I want to remind you of about the Montgomery boat brawl. The place where the brawl happened in Montgomery, Alabama, which is now being called Bloody Saturday, happened at Montgomery's Riverfront Park. So if you look at Riverfront Park, you see it's off the coast of a river, of course. What river, you might ask? Well, it's off the coast of the Alabama River, which flows right through it. That part of the Alabama River where the Horseshoe Bend is, where Riverfront Park is, used to be an auction block. Our ancestors were transported up that river, unloaded, and sold there. And for context, so many black people were enslaved and sold in this part of the Alabama River by the riverfront that they had to build depots to warehouse them like objects until it was their time to go to the auction block. The place where the Alabama brawl happened used to be a place where our ancestors, maybe their direct descendants, were sold like objects, like animals. And it was possibly done by those bleach demons' ancestors. The Alabama boat brawl. Our ancestors were there. WHGE 95.3 FM, The Open Eye. I remember criticism I got from Business Associated during my days as a columnist for the Woman's Spectator. You gotta make everything about race. Is that all you can talk about? Is everything about race? Not in my daily life. And that might be because I'm usually mostly around my people. But not in my daily life. But I live in America. Hey, when Kamala Harris was deemed the presumptive nominee for the Democratic nomination for president, the same people asking, does everything have to be about race? Cannot say her name without saying DEI. They either say it before her name or after her name. Vice President Harris, the DEI vice president, the dumbest crap you ever heard of. Okay? So it goes on from generation to generation. You think kids just are up and racist out of some action of their own? No, they're taught. Prime example. The parents of a black middle school student in suburban Boston are suing their son's school for failing to protect him from heinous racial bullying and harassment. And this is harassment he got from his peers, where they are here in their home. The lawyers for civil rights filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against the public schools of Brookline and Amos A. Lawrence School on behalf of a 14-year-old identified as MC in the complaint. The suit obtained by Atlanta Black Star alleges that the 8th grader was subjected to egregious racial harassment and physical violence by other students in a hostile environment that was severe, pervasive, and objectively offensive. This is at his middle school in Brookline, Massachusetts. In one incident, the suit states that a student told MC, "I don't want you to help me, cotton picker," after the 14-year-old tried to help his classmate clean up some food he had dropped on the ground. Rather than get his help, he told him, "I don't want you to help me, cotton picker." Another incident happened in April of 2024 when MC tripped over a piece of equipment in the music class, and while he was on the ground, a white student ran up to him and put his knee on MC's neck and yelled, George Floyd," mocking the police killing of a black man in Minneapolis 4 years ago. And he wouldn't remove his knee from MC's neck until someone intervened. Now, MC's parents tried to involve school administrators after learning about these incidents from their son, but officials were passive in their response to Henry's concerns. When MC's mother told the school counselor about the cotton picking slur, she was told that the school would facilitate a meeting between the Henry's, that's MC's parents, and the parents of the student who said the slur. And of course, that meeting was never held. And the student was only told to apologize. Later, the counselor started reducing the hateful nature of the slur to just a joke. He was just kidding. See, his parents wouldn't come in. They didn't have no meeting with this cotton picker's mother, because that's what they told their son he was. Why do we always have to make it about race? Because this is America. It's about race. To the extent that they had to sue because the school wouldn't do anything about it. Mhm. Now, in that same area in Massachusetts, an elementary school teacher was placed on administrative leave after administrators learned he held an impromptu mock slave auction in which he pushed 2 students of color in his class to stand to point out their physical attributes, like he was going to like he was going to, auction them off. They got good teeth, they're strong and athletic and ripe for sale. And this is the school teacher. And you got these people wanting to, of course, ban and whitewash America's racist past. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recently saw another video where this white guy, he was bragging to his black friends about this great restaurant and how good the food was there. Mm-hmm. This is in Alabama. And this video is going viral. Mm-hmm. And in the video that went viral, Jack Moltz, a manager at Nixon the Steaks in Tuscaloosa, is being confronted and accused by this white customer after calling a party of black customers the N-word. What he did was he took this white guy that he knew and he asked him, "Are you going to consult with these N-words?" And he asked him on the slide, he didn't want them to hear that, but he wanted to know. "You going to consult with these N-words?" Well, this was one of those white people that didn't play that. He wasn't with that racist crap. Yeah, and he called him out. And he said, "They're friends of mine. And this is their first time experiencing your restaurant. And then you want to make me feel bad because I sat at the table with them? And then you asked me if I was going to consult with these N-words. Oh, that's exactly what you did. And they all heard you." Well, he decided, Mr. Maltz, after the video went viral and he was shown to be the, racist idiot that he is. Mm-hmm. And he came on and said, well, I made a statement to a white customer of the restaurant referring to African American customers who were present as the N-word. And there's no place for any person to use the N-word. And there's no excuse or justification that could be made for my characterization, nor the hurt that it caused. And I accept all the condemnation and criticism that I have evoked, all of which is just justified towards me. And he went on to say that he apologized to all African Americans and the community and wants to reach out to all the black patrons who were there that night and apologize to them personally as well. And I say to you, sir, you can go to hell, because the only reason you apologizing is because somebody called you on your racist crap. And your restaurant start losing business. See, I don't do apologies. And I tell you why. You slap me in my face and then apologize, my face still staying. Now I ain't with it. I don't do apologies. Yeah. I don't do it. Okay. And I see some people, if someone apologizes, You have to be, man. No, don't give me none of that. That's crap. That's crap. Because like I said, the only reason people will apologize in those situations is because they start losing money or somebody then called them on the racist crap. And when his white friend, associate called him on his crap and that video went out and went viral and he started losing money, then the uh-oh flag went up. Uh-oh. And I'm not saying people can't change. People grow. People move beyond the adversity that they may have caused in their lives. But I have to question the sincerity of that. When you apologize after you start losing money. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. Does it always have to be about race? Oh, if we could just stop noticing color. That is the most hateful, racist crap white people say. That's like saying you could stop noticing one is Irish or Italian or Polish or Jewish or Chinese or Arab. Why would I not notice and celebrate who I am and the people from whom I've sprung? No matter how deeply it is despised, I recognize my dark skin is rich and beautiful, as is my culture and heritage. Why would I not notice that to gain the acceptance of people that have shown me and mine disdain and disrespect? I was burnt in God's own furnace, and it would be a sin not to rejoice in that. WHGE 95.3 FM, the Open Eye. And as we always say, destiny determines who enters your life, but you decide who stays. Therefore, value those who value you and don't treat those as a priority who treat you as an option. This has been the Open Eye on WHGE 95.3 FM. I'm Patrice Gibbs. Thanks for joining us. And as I always tell you, global African supremacy, because the world was a much better place when the black man ruled. I'm Patrice Gibbs.